with us. I don't see him. I know he just sent me an email this afternoon about stormwater phase 4. I didn't have a chance to open it, so.
Okay.
Josh, I see him now.
There he is. Josh, since you're just joining us, we're looking to start the request for proposal for stage 4 of the stormwater repair up at the North Campus.
Okay. Good evening,
What will be
everybody.
the area of focus?
So for the AV operator, do we have the file that I sent to Brian?
So is this the email you sent this afternoon?
Yeah, or I could share it from my screen.
I didn't know you needed that shared. I'm sorry, we didn't.
That's okay. I can share my screen if that works.
Yeah, Manville, can he share his screen?
Got the support and there's no.
That's the look I've always said. Josh, can you try now?
Is that coming up yet?
Yes, we've got it.
All right, beautiful.
You have it, but we don't have it. Oh, we have it now.
Oh, okay. All right. So I wanted to just do a quick recap of what the storm layout looks like up north. So all of those yellow dashed lines are the underground storm sewer lines on High School North and Lehman. Most of them we were able to do the camera survey. Some of the smaller diameter ones, such as the ones that go around the track at the athletic field, we could not get into, but for the most part, we were able to see the rest of the site under the parking lot. So phase 1 of the repairs is the red line that you see that's up at the main driveway heading back to the stadium. So I don't know if you can see my cursor, but where I'm kind of hovering over is one of the low points of the system, and that ultimately discharges plan north of the field and into the basin that's behind that location, heading out towards the on-site sewer plant. All right, so that's kind of the direction of flow going off the site. So phase 1 hit kind of the low point of one of the discharge points. Those pipes were, I think, in the worst condition from what we found from the camera investigation. All right, so now I have a green line for what was completed with phase 1. So phase 2 are the 2 red lines that kind of straddle the site, one cutting diagonal through the parking lot, first base line of the ball field, and then the other one outside of the Lehman Library. So that was phase 2. Phase 3, which we just completed last summer, is the red portion between the upper and lower parking lots. Okay. So what you can see is that all of the remaining lines that are still dashed yellow, those have not yet been improved or replaced as part of the effort so far. Some of the larger stretches, and again, can you guys see my cursor or?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So this portion here and these long portions here in the front parking lots incorporate a trench drain system. So basically it's a surface drain that is embedded into the asphalt paving surface. So I would not really recommend replacing those until we're ready to proceed with the asphalt replacement at some point, which would then address those surface drains and how they connect into some of the deeper systems that surround them. Obviously, I don't think we're going to be doing much around the stadium track, unfortunately. I'm assuming that those pipes may be in better condition because they were likely installed by a different contractor and they're a different type of collection system than some of the major pipes on site. So I guess that might be a discussion to be had, but my impression would be to continue with some of the areas to the west of the site, outside of Lehman and in the back, and heading out towards the other discharge point, which again goes to the basin out behind the tennis courts and playing field. Some of the other items are where they cross under roadways and they're essentially open pipes. There might be some grates that would prevent people from getting in there, but they can be unbolted and inspected at that point. So I guess my question would be if the district at some point would be interested in starting parking lot repairs or asphalt repairs, I think that's really the time that we would want to look at a phase 4 or so with addressing the surface drains that are in the parking lot out front. Otherwise, maybe continuing with some of the other pipes again that would lead to the discharge point up at the northwestern part of the image. The other line that again could be tricky from a grading perspective and from the perspective of disturbing there's an electrical shed out by the stadium entrance and some other installations up here. That could be a pretty tricky replacement, again, just given the steep bank that's out there and given some of the constraints with getting equipment in and out. So that could be a tricky location as well. So I guess I'm interested in just hearing some feedback related to potentially starting some of the asphalt repairs, at which point we could address some of the trench drains, or if there are other areas that have become more of a priority from the district's perspective that we should tackle first. But I wanted to discuss those options with you guys here tonight.
So when you say priorities have become a district concern, to me, I'm looking for guidance of what has to be replaced. So it's not a district concern, it's what should be replaced, and then what metric do we use, or what's the threshold for where we say, no, it's functioning, we're good, or no, it needs to be replaced. So like as you talk about, and on my screen, it's the left side on the left of kind of the far left of the tennis courts through that parking lot. You said that could potentially be the next phase if we don't do parking lot. Does that have to be done? Is it a necessity?
That's a tricky question. Though that particular area, Maggie, was, I'll say, in better condition from what we found with the camera investigation than other areas. Again, we really focused phase 1 on what we found to be the worst areas and also the area that was collecting a lot of volume because it's leading to one of the prime discharge points off of the site. And I say it's a hard question because, absent of sinkholes, absent of other, failures related to the storm piping, whether it's a necessity or not is really a tough question to answer. I guess at some point there could potentially be a sinkhole that results from piping conditions up in this portion. We haven't seen that yet, and the camera investigation did seem to indicate that they were in better condition, but I can't guarantee that at some point there might not be a sinkhole or something that opens up as a result of the piping.
If we're looking at the parking lots, are you saying we should do the storm drain and the parking lot at the same time?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it would be wise. The contour of the paving, that established elevation of the finished paving really ties in directly with the elevation of that trench drain. So I think it would be tough to do one without the other. And these fingers that kind of stick out, these are basically rainwater conductors coming off the building, the roof, that would then tie into the site storm piping. Those could be addressed. A lot of those are more so in grass areas than paving, but there is an extension that would go out to the paving as well. So again, it would be, worthwhile to consider doing that in conjunction with a parking lot project.
What's a square footage cost of paving? So like, what's my ballpark of paving that parking lot?
Well, I think we might be in a situation where we'd have to do some more investigation with cores and determine, can we mill and overlay, which is only taking off the top 1.5 or 2 inches of the surface, or do we have to reconstruct the entire profile of the paving? We did do some core samples earlier on, which indicated some areas were okay around the site. Some areas seemed like they were low on either base course paving or stone base beneath the paving. So it's each area might be a little bit different, and obviously the cost will be different accordingly. What I can do, Maggie, is do a complete takeoff of site paving, assuming full profile replacement and assuming mill and overlay. And, you could see, I guess, what might be palatable from the district's perspective with how much can be addressed at one time. Again, seeing as how phase 1 and 2 really cut through a lot of the drive aisle and parking lot, that might be a good place to start back here.
Don't we have a estimate of what the whole parking lot was gonna cost to repave, and we could then figure out what the square footage it was at that point? 'Cause
We do have that as part of the going way back to the capital plan.
Pardon?
Yeah, Josh.
Bear with me just for a second here.
That's wrong. Right.
So I think we need more information of what our options are tied to some numbers, Josh, because you can only spend $1 one way. I'm gonna say that multiple times tonight. And we need to kind of make informed decisions of what's necessity versus not. We're having Train go over all of our mechanicals and roofs and give some project options there. We have a feasibility study about what to do with some of our schools. So like we have a bunch of things going on, and I would love to kind of lay out all the options and then have the board make an informed decision looking at all of the concerns, not just this one isolated incident and then the next one is another. So I think we have a lot of irons in the fire and only so much in our capital fund.
Yeah, is some of this gonna be under warranty or not?
What do you mean?
No warranty.
Storm drain, no? Okay.
Yeah. So getting back to what the paving was, we had estimated, like you were saying, pre-COVID in 2022. That's where I remember the 800. It was $840 a year for 4 years at 3.3 million.
Yeah, so 3.5.
Yeah, so that's where we.
So I don't know if this is coming up. This was the spreadsheet that we had done initially with parking lot specific areas up north, and really broke it down at the time into individual portions or pockets of that area. Long story short, at the end of the day, we were coming up with a almost $4 million project. And you can see all the linear foot of curbing and square footage of paving. So I guess what I'm saying is we need to kind of focus in on a particular area to see, is it just paving? Is it also inclusive of curbing? Are there any other storm inlets that would have to be addressed as part of that? So, I can give you more detailed information, but I think we would need to look at a particular location within that area and say, okay, this is a priority because it's closer to the main entrance, or this is a priority because the buses pull in here. And then we can maybe start breaking apart that project into smaller pieces.
Daryl, what do you see as the priority in that parking lot?
Library side, high school, and the front where the buses pick up and drop off.
Okay.
Pretty much anywhere that coincides with in the parking lot drains. It's a mess.
So are you pulling the map back up? So library side
Right.
You're
is
talking,
right where your cursor is.
you're talking about where the building
Yeah,
is.
I'm at, like, pretty much all this line. And here.
Yeah, can we, in the,
And that's
future-
where most of the foot traffic is as
and
well.
when we do that repair, Josh, can we get rid of the storm pipe that is completely in failure there? Cause all it does is fill up with anti-skid cinders.
Oh, the trench drain.
Yeah. Let's just do away with that. Go with sheet flow.
Okay, yeah, we can look at capturing that runoff down, in the grass area or just off the edge of pave,
Yeah.
if that's feasible.
Josh, I just have a question. Is there a more affordable option than top coat pavement, like an oil and chip or something along those lines that would hold up?
Well, I guess it comes down, Daryl, to what the condition of the existing asphalt is. There's quite a lot of areas that have pretty large separation cracks. The alligator pattern that you see that would kind of indicate not just surface failure, but there's something happening with the integrity of the base and the full thickness of the system. So I'd say if you're as a preventive maintenance measure, that might be good, but I don't think you're going to be really getting much structural value out of an oil and chip or something that just addresses the top layer.
Okay.
Basically, this parking lot is 25 years old, am I correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's had a lot of wear and tear.
On expansion. So theoretically, we can do like 4 with subsections, like sub A, sub B.
Right.
We just have to figure out based upon whatever he comes back with.
So Josh, can you parcel it out by the library side as one, then kind of coming around to the front of the high school, that parking lot as a second, and then in front of Lehman as a third?
Yeah, or we could even do 4. So basically we could do that kind of rectangular area up here as 1. Maybe this stretch down here is 2, this stretch here is 3, and then 4 in front of Lehman.
Yeah, if we can parcel that out and then we can get an idea, just kind of like how you broke it up before.
Okay.
Love if we could hold to those numbers that you just showed from before.
Yeah.
Can we get a guarantee?
We'll try.
I'm sure price hasn't gone up in anything.
No.
All right, Josh, thank you for the detail. Sorry, I didn't have.
Sure.
this ready for you.
Oh, no problem.
Good. I think you're off the hook for a minute and it's me now, Josh.
Okay.
Any other discussion here on the board?
Not on that.
Okay, next item is the football stadium at Christian Memorial Stadium renovation discussion. Oh, I guess that's Maggie's report.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So in the September meeting, Mr. Goldstrand asked about kind of the Ed Christian Junior Alumni Memorial Stadium and what our options were and where were we with that process. So I did some digging of kind of what you have been told before, and then spent some time with Daryl and Sean and Eric talking about kind of what our options are that is practical. So again, we're always trying to maximize today's potential for tomorrow's success. So we're going to talk about previous plans. What problem are we actually trying to solve? What we've actually done recently, and then possible solutions. So, where we've been, it was suggested to do a large addition located on the east side, which is the baseball field side. Now, if you're doing an addition, you have to bring building up to code and you have to have enough bathrooms for the capacity of your stadium. Now, although we think we could get a waiver for that from the township, there's zero guarantee of it. So this large addition, if you look really closely,
It's not bad.
is a whole lot of plumbing. And a concession stand, mechanical and tickets. So that was the first one. Then it was suggested, same spot, a small addition, again on that east side of the stadium. And that small addition is basically just 100% concession stand. So then I asked, when this question was brought, what do we see as the actual problem at the stadium? And this is kind of for a discussion. What is your concern that you have at our stadium right now? So what problem are we trying to solve?
Well, one of the problems I think is the showers for the football players. Cause there aren't they,
Well, not just for our athletes.
for the athletes.
Yeah.
But aren't they they're not base showers or stalls, they're basically poles.
Yep.
And we have issues with that.
So it's a
So-
horrible phrase. So let's call it communal instead of gang showers. They're communal showers.
Yes.
Yes. And our children don't use them, so they become storage facilities.
Yes.
So that's one problem we want to solve, right?
Yes.
Is the bathrooms. Got it. What's another problem that we want to solve?
One of the issues with rearranging, I mean, there's some of them, but was the idea of trying to get as many sports as possible to have their own location within the stadium, as opposed to having to be in high school. There's the lockers that they have to use in the high school as opposed to being part of the stadium. Like, for example.
You want the away team to have lockers?
No. For
Mm.
example, like the girls' soccer team
Mhm.
is in the high school. Boys' soccer team, the football team, and all those other teams are in.
Why doesn't the girls' soccer team use the girls' locker room?
Cause I guess that locker room is being used possibly by field hockey or whatever the
Okay.
case is. I just know that there's been issues in the past, but that was one of the reasons.
I know he just sent me an email this afternoon about stormwater phase 4. I don't know, so
Who's that?
Yeah.
that's me.
I know.
How are you?
It's the delay.
That's insane. That's how big I am. Magical.
Yeah, I know the other
Say
issue
who, but-
was the bathrooms, but I know, Daryl's been doing a great job.
Bathrooms look
back up
good.
too. So appreciate that. The other issue was the issue from the safety perspective during football games at the concession stands. There's, we've been, and so that's been brought up a couple times to us, and that was the idea of putting the concession stand outside. And then the other issue was too, just the parents alone, who come to the games to support the teams, but they can't watch the game because they're stuck in the concession stand. And so like their kids might be playing during the game, whatever sport it might be, they're running the concession stand. And so having an outside concession stand, they can still be an active participant in watching the game as
Okay,
opposed to.
okay.
That's always been an issue because getting parents to sign up to do concession stand, it ends up being one person every game and they miss out watching their kid playing a sport.
I hear that, but I wonder if it's on the east side of the field and there's people in front of them and they're working the concession stand, will they actually be able to observe the game?
Well, I think one of the big things is hopefully with more training with our system
That
that
they
we
can
have
use the board.
outside, that we start using the board more as, instead of just a first down.
Mhm.
TV.
They're
Yeah.
working on it.
Start working on incorporating that. But I know safety was one of the biggest issues.
Okay. Are there other problems we're trying to solve at the stadium? Okay. So recent renovations and kudos to Daryl and his team. So the domestic hot water, the boiler, They have renovated the public bathrooms, they've painted and updated. They've done LED lights, they've done temperature and humidity control in the rifle range. And in Daryl's very, very formal talk, they have HGTV'd the weight room. So before we get into the bigger discussion, I'm always going to say and always remind us that sometimes I believe we start with a micro move and not a macro move, and we can only spend $1 one way and we only have so many dollars. So I've said my reminder. So recommendations for our current stadium. We're recommending some locker room renovations. We believe this could be internal work done through painting, plumbing, stall doors, and locker room, and painting the actual lockers. The communal showers, we would need to kind of put that out to bid. And what I would recommend is no longer doing communal showers. So right now there's poles in the middle of the room. I would say do a few stalls. From schools that even have stalls, not a lot of kids are going to use it anyway, but still let's allow children to have access to the stalls. And then maybe we can repurpose some of that space for more lockers if we're trying to solve that none of our athletes have lockers in the stadium. And then Rob did some great work on getting a quote of flooring throughout the whole building. And I think Daryl or Eric said it best of, it's a cinder block building. There's only so many ways you can make it look pretty. Flooring would definitely have that impact. So we believe we could manage most of this, but the communal showers would have to be put out to bid. And we believe these are small micro changes that have a big impact. So Daryl did the public restrooms and people are already commenting that it's a nicer environment. Now concession stand congestion. So I'm gonna say all of this with a reminder, we're talking about like 6 or 7 nights out of 365. So option 1 is we could move the ticket booths and make the entrance on the sides. So right now, people enter and exit through that garage door entrance. If we move the ticket booths to either side, we would almost close that garage door and it's no longer an entrance and an exit. And that decreases the traffic in front of the concession stand. We would purchase 2 small ticket booths that would flank the home entrance, very similar to what we have on the visitor side. And we would create like a stanchion system in front of the concession stand to help organize the flow. I also just need to highlight a lot of the concession stand congestion. That's not easy to say. A lot of the congestion there does not have to do with people purchasing.
Yep, of course.
It's hanging out.
It's teenagers
Just hang.
being teenagers.
Yep.
Right.
So we're always going to have them congregating somewhere that we're going to try to have them move so we have a better flow of traffic. So just realize if we create this stanchion system and kind of cross it off, they're going to find somewhere else that they're going to cause traffic flow issues. So that's option 1, is just let's move the entrance, and this is minor investments, and let's see if that helps. Option 2 is to build a new permanent concession stand. I wouldn't do an addition. That way you're not into kind of renovating and grandfathering and worrying about the number of toilets. I would almost do a secondary structure for the concession stand on that same side of the building. But I would do a big one. And I would include storage for all of our athletic equipment. So if you can kind of picture a storage facility, like one of those self-storage facilities, I would have the concession stand on the field side, and around the other 2 or 3 sides of the building, I would have garage roll-up doors, and track has 2 doors. Another sport has another. And here's the picture, and it just happens, I'm not even kidding, that the shadow is like where we would put the building. I would take down this fence here, and the fence would be kind of the opening of the concession stand. So like I'm envisioning an awning onto that area, concession stand is there. Mr. Goldstrand, then it addresses kind of, they're looking at the field and looking at the scoreboard that we are continually working on improving. So that's our second option, is a large structure that solves storage issues as well as issues with the concession stand.
Is that almost like what we have up north, except the north has a bathroom in it, but we have the concession stand out in the front, and then we have the storage in the, beyond that.
Correct.
But we have the bathroom in there.
Correct, yep, absolutely. Now, we have a lot of sheds on property, which cause Daryl angst.
Yes.
Because they actually don't last forever. And they need constant repair. So this building would replace those sheds. This,
You need a roof right now.
yep. The third option is to just do the concession stand. So not to maybe purchase a shed-esque building to put it in the same spot, again, facing the field, so you're moving that traffic out there and creating that space. Now, that's a lot for a temporary secondary structure. We would have to cost that out of what the shed would be versus that. I can tell you that in talking to Sean, he feels that when we talk to Sean Murray about the concession stand congestion, he's not worried about what's happening up front. He's worried about the physical concession stand, that in it, everything is incredibly tight.
Right.
And people are stepping over each other and it's really difficult to function. Don't disagree.
That's in reference to the existing one.
The current. So again, the same place, we would put a shed kind of right here, and it would serve as a concession stand. The fourth option is to purchase a portable one, like a food truck, a giant food truck. Or, and I have no idea, so big and broad, remember I said to you, big and broad. Do we take one of our buses and turn it into a food truck and park it out front?
Big smoker.
Correct, I don't know.
We could take 2 or 3 buses, one on each end.
We just,
Andrew on that, start building a giant.
correct, Mr. Snyder on that, let him know we assigned him some homework.
Yes.
So those are the options, in my mind, open to any of them. So before we talk, let's look at our funds. The end of the school year, last year, we had 17.4 million. Based on the projects that we anticipate this year, we expect that the capital fund will be down to just under 12. This school year, we're not adding to the capital reserve because we have a significant budget and we took that out. The capital cost that we've not incurred yet is about 6 million, which is that around that difference. And it includes generators for those 3 schools. A PA system, the roof at JM Hill, a roof at Bushkill, stadium roof down at South, and lighting upgrades down at South. So those are, we haven't felt them yet, but they will be in existence. So we're looking at a capital fund of about 11.6 at the end of the school year. So you can only spend $1 one way.
If I can go first, I think, a few years back, and this has been an ongoing saga. Rob had put together, this is the storage unit, this is how we can utilize it, just like you were saying before, and that seems to take care of 2 essential problems in one. It also frees up space inside of the stadium with the equipment. It makes it easier. Daryl doesn't have to worry about the sheds anymore if we just need them today. We can utilize that space, and I always thought that was probably the better idea than building a permanent structure with, I think it was 85 toilets.
It was something
So,
ridiculous.
yes, some crazy number. So that would be, obviously, prices have changed significantly since then. And I think it was actually drawn out with the layout of the concession stand and how big it was gonna be, the size of the units, at some point. And so that I always thought was the better move going forward. Because it solves 2 of the issues that we have, as opposed to just one. And so, and like we said, Daryl and his crew have done a wonderful job renovating bathrooms, getting them back on where we'd like them to be, so that's where I would And I love the idea when you said about the stanchions and about putting in, you know, just opening another ticket booth at that other end, just during football games.
Mhm.
Cause it would alleviate a tremendous amount of foot traffic.
Mhm.
There's already an entrance down there.
Correct.
That's where most people park anyway, too.
Right.
But the locker rooms would still be under the stadium like it is now,
Yes,
You would free up
and
space.
the rifle range would still be under the
Yeah.
stadium like it is now,
yes,
and the wrestling room.
yes.
So we still have those hallways, basically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We just closed the entrance up, basically.
And then it opens up the concession room for, you know, for the athletics. For the trainer, not the trainer, for the coaches or whatever, new coaches room.
They're already there, I think, aren't they?
No, I'm saying in the concession.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just opens up more space. Of course, I mean, that's a wish, but pricing is,
How about, I've been to some stadiums, they don't have a concession stand, they do have like 3 or 4 food trucks that come and they actually give I think there's like a fee to the school and or a percentage of the sales.
They usually give a cut of their sales. Then.
Yeah, some schools actually do both. One in Bethlehem does both. There's a small daily, there's a small like monthly fee, you know, to be at the, but it is gonna, if it cuts down on our cost of labor and such, and it provides a service. There are plenty of food truck people in our area that, for like a Friday night football game, could really profit, they could do a nice profit on that night. And I don't know, that's something to think about too. I mean, if we're in a deficit and we're low on funds and we have a lot of projects that we still have not even entertained.
They'd have to do a parking lot there for those food trucks.
I'm sorry?
You have to find a parking area for those food trucks, right, during the game.
They could be down at the end where this potential building's gonna be. There's plenty of room at that end. There's plenty of room at
Yeah,
both
it's
ends,
plenty
yeah.
of room, but we may have to do some modification. To park from the.
yeah, I don't know if you want to drive it on the grass.
They could come inside. It's not, they don't have to drive on the track to get in there.
No, they can come over here.
Yeah, and that end.
Correct.
Correct,
Yep.
yeah. Just an idea.
I-
I mean, I like what you're saying, that we have like, 6 games. Well, actually, it's more than 6 games. There's soccer games, there's
Yeah,
volleyball, I mean, there's soccer
Baseball.
games, field hockey.
We were just saying the overall congestion outside in that middle area. That's the safety concern is starting. More so.
So my suggestion is we have the feasibility study rolling, we have train rolling with mechanicals. And then Josh is working on the stormwater phases and what that's going to look like. I think that we need all 3 of those things to come in. And then for us to create a priority list of what we're going to tackle. Because we want this, nobody's arguing that we don't think this is a great idea.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things I think are a great idea, but we can't necessarily afford, or we have to save for it, it's like way away.
Mhm.
So I think that before we get kind of married to a project and stuck with funds and paying for a project. And realize there were other things that needed to be done. The feasibility study is ending within the next month or so. Train will have all their information to us by the end of December. I think that we kind of table any major investment just now until we can look at everything and start to really prioritize where we're going to spend our funds. First.
Agreed.
That's all I have, oh, no, I just lied to you. I just lied, there were other things under my bullet. So the feasibility study, just an update, we meet with RLPS monthly, and then they send us kind of a weekly update for the board. They have done assessments of all of our buildings and they've kind of scored all of our buildings. And they're going to present that information in November of kind of how our buildings are scoring with age and usability and function. So they look at the mechanics as well as the functionality of it. They will go over all of that with you and present that to the board. We're also doing surveys about how people feel about the buildings and the facilities that we offer. And then what do people think kind of in future planning? Those presentations will be November and December, and that's where we're really going to talk about what are all of the options? What's the feasibility of all of our schools? And I'm gonna say big and broad. We want to think of the most wild, extreme options. Think of every option you can imagine of how we could use our facilities. And then let's start to pare it down, very much like the bell time schedule. We haven't made any decision. We have not made any decision, but I presented you guys with 7, you asked me to go back, so there's actually 9 options that we presented with. You gave me 3, and I'm chasing down those 3 and exploring those 3 options. So I want us to look at all possible scenarios, all possible options, and then from there, you as a board are going to say, okay, I want you to spend a year exploring these 3 options, and what can it be? And then again, making an informed decision, you'll be able to figure out what the path is. So that feasibility study is really, really important because it's going to help you inform your decisions of how we're utilizing our schools. Could we be utilizing them more effectively? Could we be repurposing them for other uses that serve our students and our community? Or do we just stay status quo?
We're also gonna have to look into what's just went on in New York. That may have a function on what, how many more people will get here.
I don't know what that means.
They have a new mayor in New York City.
That's the politics.
That's
Perspective.
politics.
Yeah, but that's going
But that may
to
mean
change.
we get more people here if they don't like his politics. So that
His
means that.
politics.
so
We'll
that
have to worry
means
about that when we
How
do it.
how are we gonna use the schools?
Mhm.
That's all I'm saying. We're talking about.
I feel like that's a political facing statement because he did get elected, so the majority of people did vote for him. So I just caution about political statements like that. We don't know if we're
We don't
going.
know. No, we don't know. That's all I'm
Correct.
saying.
We also, I mean, the reality is that there was a horrible tragedy and terroristic attack that increased our population.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
We
look,
may,
we have that.
I'm just making a statement.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not putting any political side on it.
Correct.
I'm just saying it's a statement that we may have an increase of people moving into the district. That's all I'm
Okay.
saying.
So on October 20th, we had to close Resica Elementary School. Any other questions about feasibility? Okay, on October 20th, we had to close Resica Elementary School a little earlier than we had planned because of a water issue. And I just want to kind of make sure that everybody knows exactly what happened. And Daryl, feel free to jump in because I am a first grade teacher by trade and not your world. So I'm gonna do my very, very best. So we have well pumps that pump water into a filtration system. Then it goes up to the water tower. The water tower holds 125,000 gallons of water. And that water then feeds the building. The building uses on average between 800 and 2,000 gallons of water a day. For about a week or so, the building was using 14,000 gallons a day. We don't know why. Well, we do now. First, we didn't know what was happening, and we also didn't know why at the time. We back flush the filters every 14 days because there is sediment in the water, and we need to clean out the filters because they clog. The filters and the pumps are able to pump at 24 gallons a minute, I believe of the numbers, up to the water tower. Because we were processing a week's worth of water in a day, the filters were clogged. We weren't pumping enough water up into the water tower at a fast enough rate for consumption of the building. When we became aware of it, we realized the first solution or the first step of solving this problem was we needed to back flush. Am I using that right?
Correct.
We needed to back flush the filters to clean them out. that uses an insane amount of water. When we had to do that first to clean them out, to pump efficiently. The back flushing drained it and killed us and drained the tank. Now, we were able to, as soon as they were clear, we were back to pumping an insane amount of water up. But it would have taken hours to refill the tank to where we would have been able to use the water. So at that point, we knew, and we also needed to solve why we were using 14,000 a day. So we closed early. It was an emergency. I have to say, transportation got us buses in 45 minutes, which is incredibly impressive. And kudos to Dr. Kulik for kind of rallying the team and getting kids ready and out. And our parents were crazy flexible. Nobody complained. So we shut off the water. We said, now we need to figure out why. So Daryl started with his team looking at why. We looked at the gauges of how much water was being used. It matched from the tower to the building. So we knew it was somewhere from the building on, that the issue was not from the tower or the filter or the pump. So we went into the building. Daryl started to go through, I think you went to the kitchen area first.
Yeah. And essentially what we found, you want me to?
Nope, I got it.
You're doing great.
I had a
You're
tickle.
doing
Thank you.
great.
By the way, no notes. This is all just off.
Right.
I do listen. So went to the first assumption that it was some sort of appliance that just naturally is plumbed to drain that we didn't notice, because the reality is if you have 12,000 extra gallons a day, you would see it.
Yeah.
If it was in the building.
Troublesome.
So we just assumed that it was something that was naturally plumbed. It wasn't. The guys went outside and there was a water fountain outside that was leaking. But it was something like 10 gallons a minute. It was something ridiculous. Well, because we were in a drought and the location of it, it just never showed. So it never pooled, so we never knew that the fountain was leaking. So since then, we've shut off the fountain and we are all good at Resica. But that is the very long story of why Resica had no water. And Daryl and his team, I mean, honestly, by 4 o'clock, we had water back in the building. We knew what the problem was. We had taken care of the problem and we were ready to go the next day. Any
Kudos.
questions? How'd I do?
Good.
Fantastic.
Okay. So if this superintendent thing doesn't work out, I'm coming to work on your team. All right, and now I'm really done.
I don't think you have to worry about that.
I hope not. Hope not.
Next item on the agenda is current project status updates. CHA project updates, Josh, the North Natatorium roof leak.
That work on the back wall, Mr. Roner, is complete, and they are currently working on closing up the mechanical room access, which is the side of the building. The opening is watertight and insulated. They were just waiting for the metal panel skin to arrive as the final fascia piece out there. So there's one final thing to do in the building, which is above ceiling. Munn Roofing is going to do that work over the Thanksgiving break so that they're not impacting the use of the corridor during the day. But the steel beams that are above the corridor, abutting the wall, will be infilled with spray foam insulation to keep additional air from within the building out of the cavity as well. But the reconstruction of the wall is complete, and all that's left is the mechanical opening with the final metal trim pieces.
And that's in reference to the sidewall, right?
Yes, the sidewall that you can see from the Lehman main entrance side.
All right, the next number 2 was the North Transportation Facility. Garage.
So, yeah, we've had some ongoing discussions with Maggie and Eric, and we're also looking into a pre-engineered building to be dropped on site. And part of the reasoning for that is we're looking at the condition of the existing, what used to be basically a tire storage shed that's now converted to offices. And the thinking or the question is, are we better off maybe just demolishing that part of the building as well and starting new with both the lounge portion and the office side? So we've gotten a preliminary quote from a metal pole building vendor, basically for the slab and the shell. But we're still updating the budget for what it would mean to fit out the space with electric and mechanical installations. So we'll have an update over to Maggie and Daryl probably next week with what that budget update looks like. But we are looking at possibly demolishing that existing office side of the building as well.
Awesome. Number 3, the Lehman TV studio.
So Lehman and JTL, I'm still waiting to hear back from the permits department. I'm actually going to swing over to both of them tomorrow and just pop my head in person. But I don't know, what the holdup is, but I think we should be able to have those comments back, if any. And maybe Daryl's crew could even get that work going over the winter timeframe for early semester 2 for both of the buildings.
Did we buy the equipment for that? We have all the equipment, correct? Daryl, anybody?
The equipment as far as for the TV studio,
Yeah,
I can't answer that.
I don't know the answer to that question.
you can't answer that.
As far as the TV studio equipment goes,
Like
no,
the
I don't.
equipment. So now we put this off another almost a year. I'm sorry?
Oh, we have-
I thought-
I'm not saying that
I
we
don't
don't.
know one way or the other,
I
if
thought-
it's on property.
Okay, but I
We've
thought,
budgeted for it, I don't know if it's on property, so I don't want you to say we have or have
Alright.
not. And let me get an answer. to
no,
that.
the only reason why is because now that price changed again, probably. The question I'm having is, I thought we did know the problem with that it was a permit for the internal walls that we had to get. That was the problem we were told last month. That we needed permitting.
That's correct. So for the walls, and there's also some minor electrical work with quad receptacles for some of the ceiling equipment and also for the, I guess, sound or video rack within the control room.
So what's the holdup? The township?
Yeah, I don't know. I will find out tomorrow. I'm actually going to pop in both places, Keith, and see what's going on.
So this was supposed to be done spring, end of summer, I'm sorry, end of school year, supposed to be done over the summer. All right,
Next item is the South Field House heating.
So that is underway. There was an issue with circulation and flow, providing enough flow throughout the building back to the boilers. So there were some piping that needed to be upsized, as well as pumps that needed to be upsized to provide enough flow for the boilers. There was a question with flow throughout the building, if it was adequate to serve the new boilers. And it was determined that we needed to upsize some of the circulation piping within the mechanical room. So that work I know has been started this week. Scranton Electric tentatively will have it complete by Friday so that there is heat in that facility by the end of this week.
Our wrestling coach, okay?
Our athletic director is incredibly stressed, as he.
well, it is stressful because we talked about this all summer, we need this done before cold weather. And it was one thing being held up, another thing being held up, now we're just waiting on one part, we're fine, we're just waiting on this, and now it's like, now we underspec it, you're saying? We underspec something? Was that what?
Once the boiler was started up, Keith, for the cold season, there was a concern from the boiler startup vendor that the boiler was not getting enough flow throughout the system coming back to the boiler, and that there was a concern that without having enough flow, the boiler could essentially overheat and damage components within the boiler. So some of it has to do with the piping volume and size throughout the rest of the building, which was a bit of an unknown. We didn't know exactly, what was out throughout the remainder of the building. So within the mechanical room itself, we're actually creating a small loop that will provide enough flow regardless of what's happening throughout the rest of the building, that the boilers can fire safely without any concern of overheating.
So is it gonna be fixed this week or you?
Friday.
Very good.
It's called change order.
You have right to.
They're just saying Friday, but.
I'm very
the
frustrated.
It's like work has to be done, that's what I'm saying.
What it sounds like. Okay, any other discussion on that? Next item is building and facilities current project updates. Daryl?
Anything, Daryl?
No.
No, it would have just been Bushkill Elementary.
He really likes talking into the microphone, so we can talk a lot.
And that's done. It's been done.
Daryl,
Yes.
how's the roof at Middle Smithfield? Is there anything, is that doing good?
That's doing great, actually.
Actually, Daryl does have some news.
I hope,
Yes.
yeah, I think he did. I kind of,
Go ahead.
I was able to have a discussion on site with
It's a
the
nice way to say it.
CEO, I'm guessing, I don't know exactly what his title, the big shot through Garland at Middle Smithfield. And after all these years, we've traced the problem back to the flashings. It was the loop.
Which is
green,
consistent
the whole
throughout our
nine.
buildings.
And I explained to him that we need all the flashings on the building replaced. And that is, as we speak, he's getting quotes to have that done. I'm hoping by the next BNF meeting.
and it's under warranty, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's the
That's a
beauty.
beautiful thing. That's Garland. I'm sorry,
So that Thursday storm event was significant enough to.
Yes.
I'm sorry, the reason they're also working with me at my church, and they're an amazing company, and he mentioned, well, I'll fix your issue when I go up to Middle on Monday. I went, what are you going to Middle for? I thought that was fixed. And then I didn't want to say, I'm sorry.
They've got a good
Luke-
plan that's been.
Luke is in. Huh?
It's settled. It's good.
I didn't want to, okay, just, thank you.
So someday we're gonna reduce our ceiling tile purchase.
Rob wants to reduce the ceiling tile purchases. His people.
Pretty
want to
brutal, right?
reduce it.
Thinking we should hold them responsible for the ceiling tiles.
Yeah,
All of them.
listen,
Although I've been keeping track of how much it costs.
just so you know, I don't know if you were with us back then, but my very first meeting, December 5th, December 5th. We did over $315,000 for mold remediation in 2015. So yeah, why should we pay for that? Because at the time, the building was 2 years old, the addition. So yeah, we should be fighting for every penny we can get.
Kirk, correct me if I'm wrong, that particular area of the roof was multiple roofing systems with multiple companies, correct?
There was, yes.
So it was a fight between multiple companies to not mine, that's not in back and forth for a while.
One was saying it was siding,
Yeah.
the other was saying.
So finally it took Garden to say, look, we're just gonna fix it, probably, right? That's kind of what they did to you, sort of?
Uh,
Or are they accepting?
the issue falls on the roofers. So yes, that's what they're gonna do.
Right.
Hey, as long as they're doing the right thing, yeah,
At this point, they are, yes.
we do want to be reimbursed for sure. Number 3, technology department projects. Brian, are you out there?
I don't think he is, so this is that project. We worked to find a date that they could have a 2-week window. That we could use this room, that it wasn't being utilized, so they are starting. I want to say the 18th of November. And we will be fully functional by the end of December, but we will be functional to go for the December 1st reorg.
So then the audio that I'm hearing from Josh tonight will be eliminated.
That is an accurate statement. So they will be in here first thing after our board meeting on the 7th. So they'll be here on the 18th.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 5, proposed 25-26 projects, none.
Nada.
Number 6, completed 25-26 projects, Bushkill Elementary. The boiler replacement.
Done.
And kudos to Train. I mean, they turned that project around from August to October, right, Daryl? I
Yes.
mean, like that was,
First
we
week.
gave them a super short runway and they did an amazing job. So thank you.
So we now have heat,
We have heat.
so we're good to go. JM Hill Elementary. What do we do at JM Hill?
All the floor.
Asbestos abatement, flooring replacement, gym floor repair.
Okay,
I don't know if we have, this is just all the projects that we've completed thus far.
Do we have, I
Okay.
mean, do we have to go through each one? I mean, we know they're done.
I don't think we do. That's not my size.
any other discussion on that? I think we've pretty much beat this one.
Yep.
Next item is JT Lambert, data wiring, IP phones, partial flooring replacement. All of that's completed, right?
All of these in this section are completed projects. So all we're doing is just trying to like memorialize what we've done this school year thus far.
Okay.
This is like our celebration section.
Like, woo!
For those that say we do nothing.
Yeah.
North Campus, the auditorium light upgrade, stormwater phase 3, and the water tower generator is, by golly, is that complete?
Done and done.
Huh. There you go, Keith.
Finally, yeah.
We're not gonna see that one anymore.
So that generator out front is gone. So that was a temporary generator
Wait a minute, where we talk, of the.
at the bell at the water tower.
The one that was out front was the old one, that was.
That wasn't the old one. That was where the original was put for that building.
This is for the water tower.
Yeah,
It's.
that one that sat out front. That was not a permanent generator.
It was behind the,
Shit.
the building.
But there was one in front of the building.
Here's what I know. I know when the old generator was removed, it was sat out front for a small period of time until we removed it out of there. So,
Yeah, it was relocated and kept in use until we had that propane tank issue worked out for the new one.
yeah, right. So it may have sat out there for what, a couple weeks, Josh, or something?
Couple months.
Was it? I don't.
Quite a few months.
Yeah, I think it was longer than that, but basically, you know, we got the original one off the pad so that we could work back there, set the new generator, but until we finished up the fuel service, we had to keep the existing or the old generator in service as the backup until the new one was online.
Okay. Any other discussion there, Keith?
No, I'm just happy it's done.
Okay.
The other thing is just going back to JTL, we can add to the finished product, the chairs and all the nice lighting in there too, that's not on here. That was,
That was officially under 24-25 budget, and that's why.
but it was just finished this year, finally, too.
Yes, but I think,
And they're beautiful.
yes.
They even light up the aisles at night
is
too.
beautiful.
And
We're
they're
gonna get to use them
they're
this
for
weekend
real
for their-
adults, I
For
know.
their play.
Rusk Elementary, the partial flooring replacement. And that's it.
And South
Uh,
House Heating, we believe it will be completed this week.
Yep.
Well, let's not celebrate that yet.
I'm so close.
keep your fingers crossed. Current capital project list. Any discussion on that?
Nope.
Okay, hearing none, current capital payment lists. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, items requiring action, CHA invoices 1 through 7. South Field House equipment renovations, 246 and change. East Stroudsburg Elementary sprinkler replacement, 2,127 and change. JTL data network improvements for 953 and change. The JTL boiler and water heater replacement, $498 and change. The boardroom audiovisual upgrades, $505 and change. Stormwater Phase 3, $406 and change, and the North Site Transport Building, 1,375. Any discussion?
I have a question. When we have these invoices from CHA, they're broken up over the life of the project, I assume, right?
Yeah,
And they're usually a percentage of the project, correct?
Correct.
So how can we have a percentage of the North Site Transportation Building when we don't know what we've been doing with it?
Because he has been doing work. Investigating. So there are engineering have done drawings, there's been work done on exploring what our options are, correct, Josh?
Correct. So if you remember that whole notice to proceed document, Maggie, that we put together a couple months ago, it was based on a certain estimated construction cost for the addition of the lounge on the existing building. So that's what the fee was based off of at the time. And yes, you're correct. We are spending effort looking at other options, but we've also started preparing plans for what the addition would look like as well. So we're just trying to make sure that we're, not putting good money after bad up there, that we're putting an addition on something that doesn't, isn't best served for the purpose of what we're trying to do with it, seeing as how it was a storage shed prior to it being offices.
Okay. And what is the $2,500 fee that's on the bill? It's an
I mean, that could be from survey, from background drawings, CAD drawings that are prepared for utility investigations of, connections and load, that kind of stuff.
That's not the additional summer project fee, correct?
No. Additional summer project fee. No, I'm not sure what that is.
Well, in the contract with CHA, there's an additional, I think it's a couple of $1,000s more if a project is done over the summer. I don't know why there would be an additional charge for a project to be over the summer versus the winter or the fall. But there's an additional fee that was tacked on. I thought it was around $2,500.
Oh, okay. So what you're referring to, Keith, is capital projects or summer projects. The fee structure is based on the value of the project. So in other words, projects up to a certain amount, I believe it's 100,000. There's a $4,000 base fee plus 7.5% of the project cost. And then it's a sliding scale. So above 100,000 up to, I believe, 300,000, there's a $2,500 base fee plus 7.5%. Anything over 300,000 is a flat 7% fee.
Okay, so then my question is, if we haven't even started the project yet, why the $2,500 fee?
Well, but we have, I mean, we've started design efforts based on what we understood the scope to be when we did that notice to proceed. What I'm saying is we're still looking at options because I don't know that there's consensus, honestly, still that we're going to be doing the right thing with tacking on a small addition up there and still being left with a structure that is really not even suitable as an office space to begin with.
And there's another $2,500 fee for the boardroom upgrades, and that was supposed to be done over the summertime also. And it's not being done until December.
That's right. So regardless of schedule, regardless of time of year when it's completed, as part of the capital plan, capital project fee structure, like I said, there's that $4,000 or $2,500 base fee depending on the cost of the project. So if you see on the invoice, there might be, the fee calculation might say 2,500 plus another amount, which would be the 7% of the project amount.
I- I'm just confused because I'm just very confused. I just think we're spending, and this is just my personal opinion and nothing against you, Josh, but personally, but I think we're spending way too much money um with the engineering company in a whole. Um, we're talking about a deficit and we're talking about cutting expenses within our district, and yet I mean, we talked about a pole building a year ago. And now we're talking about a pole building now. We could have had the pole building in by now if we would have just talked about it and did it a year ago. I just, and then there's $20,000, almost 20, 15, almost $16,000. And it's based on a fee that we don't even know what it's going to be. So it could be more than that by the time we get done. So I'm just very frustrated financially, and we as a board have to be fiscally responsible and prudent. You know, you can only spend a dollar one way.
Somebody was
And
So Keith, what I will say to that is Dewey Engineering, CHA, we have not raised our monthly retainer amount or our fee structure since we were initially brought on board in 2015. We have kept your monthly retainer the same. We're not looking at retiring off your capital projects. Believe me, these are very labor intensive projects. Believe it or not, these small projects are, a lot of times, they're almost as much work as a multi-million dollar project for what we have to do to put together bid specs and everything else. We're certainly, I will say with all honesty, we are certainly not taking advantage of East Stroudsburg Area School District with our fee structure for capital projects. We go in, we respond to RFPs for services with a very similar fee structure, and it's absolutely, if not the lowest, very, very competitive. So I understand, Keith, your frustration. I know that, maybe you've seen us up there a lot and thinking that, you guys might be spending too much, but I can honestly tell you from a professional fee perspective, it's certainly well within the range of what the services, would cost a public entity.
just a statement. I'm allowed to speak at public meetings.
He
When
wasn't
I'm-
stopping you from, just.
I just have to say that. Just one more question. What is the yearly retainer we pay them? Do we know how much that is?
$24,000. It's $2,000 a month unless they charge us an additional retainer fee.
What do we get for what do we get for the $2,000 a month?
He'll have to speak for that.
So Keith, I'll give you a perfect example. So you guys just went through a very detailed explanation of a water leak at Resica. That is a perfect example of, you guys can pick up the phone, call CHA and say, hey, guys, we're looking into something up here. We need some help. That's part of our monthly retainer. You're not going to get billed as a separate project for coming out to help with that kind of stuff. I know that your staff is very capable, and Rob, Daryl, the whole crew, they like doing stuff themselves. They like troubleshooting, which is great. But hey, if you make another phone call to us, it's not going to cost you a dime to get some additional support. So that's exactly why the retainer is put in place for our K-12 clients.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, application for payment, the Bushkill Elementary School, boiler replacement with train is application number 2 for $799,049 and change. Any discussion? Public participation, anybody out there?
No.
Okay, hearing none. Recommendations for consideration by the board, motion. So we make a motion, I guess we go to the invoices.
Basically just paying invoices.
Motion to pay invoices to CHA numbers 1 through 7.
Second,
Discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
And I vote no in Wayne Roner fashion.
Okay. Amy has that.
Yep.
I guess we have a motion to, for a payment, application for payment to,
Train.
train for the, $799,000 plus.
Second,
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to adjourn.
No, before we adjourn, I just have to make a statement here. I would like to, on behalf of, I can't speak for George, and I will speak for George and Jason. I would like to thank you, Wayne, for your dedication over the years to the facilities of our school district. Without your knowledge on a lot of things, we would not have gotten as far as we did on a lot of things. And we're gonna miss you. So, but
Well, thank you.
I thank you for all your years of service.
and I second that.
It was a pleasure.
Should I third it?
You can third it.
Third it.
You want to fourth it? Do I hear a bit?
And I would say it's not just his commitment to facilities. It's
No,
just
it's no.
his commitment.
We're just-
But this, I'm
yeah,
speaking before
but
this meeting. I'll
Just as a whole, his commitment to the district and
Yes.
making sure, and honestly, of just holding us accountable, making sure that we are making right decisions and we are stewards of not only the district that we serve, but the community that we serve and the taxpayer. So, yeah.
I second that.
As long as the students remain top priority, I'm gonna, I'm excited about the direction we're moving in, so.
Moving and grooving.
Thank you, Wayne.
Yeah,
Maximizing the potential.
okay. That's a wrap.
Oh,
So
motion.
moved.
So that second.
Motion to adjourn?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you,
All in
Josh.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Hey.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I get that.